Greetings one and all. Welcome back to my kitchen here today, where I am going to be making some Turkish pide. So, as you probably know, like a Turkish version of pizza. Now the reason I'm making them today, not only because I think they're going to taste good, is I've just had some ingredients in my fridge sitting there for a little while that are left over. Like I've got this bread flour, wholemeal, high glutinous flour, so I want to use some of that. And then look what else I had. I had some mozzarella cheese, already grated. So I'm thinking, pizza, something like that. But also some pecorino cheese. I've got some guanciale left over from when I made, some of you might have saw I made that authentic style carbonara, so that's where these came from. I had some mushrooms, capsicum, got some eggs in here that need to be used. Yeah, so I thought, why not combine them into, did I say capsicum? Anyway, yeah, why not combine them into something really yummy. So it's kind of going to be like just a savoury, almost breakfasty style pide, with my pig cheek jowl, cured meat, my egg, but then some yummy cheese and a bit of vitamin C, whatever. Let's get on with it. Alrighty, so the first thing to do is make my pastry for my pides. I've just got 2 cups of that bread flour, glutinous flour, high protein flour, whatever you want to call it, in a bowl here. I'm just going to add a tablespoon of instant yeast and about a teaspoon of sugar and half a teaspoon of salt. Just combine them up while they're dry. And I'm just making a little well in the middle. Alright, now here I've just got some lukewarm water, and that's about 3/4 of a cup, but I'm not going to be adding that much, I don't think. I'm just going to add a little bit at a time, and that's enough to start with, and just a tiny little drizzle of olive oil. And I'll get my spoon and we'll just start mixing that moisture into our flour mixture. Alrighty, and once that dough mixture starts coming away from the sides like that, I'm going to turn it out onto my floured bench here. And we're going to give this a thorough kneading for a good at least 10 minutes. So we're just stretching it out, folding it, stretching it, folding it, stretching it. You get the picture. Alrighty guys, so I've been kneading my dough away there for a good 10-12 minutes, something like that. I've just got a clean bowl here. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, just a little tiny bit to that. Swirl it around a bit. Use your hands, because we're just going to rest this dough now in there. So I'm going to coat it just in a very light layer of that olive oil as well, just to stop it sticking to anything. And I'll just get a cover on that. And I had this oven just on a low heat before. It's actually a cold day here, so I'm just going to sit it up on top there. It's not hot at all, it's just a little bit warm. Alrighty, I'll let that rise for a little while. Alrighty guys, so yeah, it's about an hour or so later. I've got my dough here. It's rising really nicely. So I'm just going to move that out of the way for a minute. Put it aside. Now I've got here my guanciale, and I've decided if I am going to use that, I also want to render a bit of the fat out of my guanciale. That's sort of what it's famous for. It's made from the pig cheek jowl, and if you saw that video on the carbonara, that's sort of that fat that renders out of that was the basis for our sauce. So here I'm going to I am still going to cook it on top of my pide as well, but I'm just going to par cook it basically first. Now to render most of that fat out, it's good to start with a cold pan, then turn our heat on and just let it slowly heat up. And how I'm going to carry the flavours that come out of that is with these mushrooms that I've just sliced up. So once some of the fat starts coming out of that, I'll add these mushrooms, and they will sort of suck up those flavours, that cured ham, cured meat, some of those oils and everything. And again, I won't be cooking it to within an inch of its life, but just par cooking everything. So when it's quickly cooked in our pide, it'll be yeah, it'll just finish it off. Alright, I'll get on with that. I'll get back to you. Alrighty guys, so that's yeah, the cooking is done. I'm going to take them off the heat. Turn our hot plate off there, and pretty shortly I'll get to actually assembling our pides. Alrighty, so I've got my dough mixture here. Just going to take it out. Just punch a bit of that air out of it, like so. Now I'm going to be making 2 pides, so I'll just roughly cut that in half. Now what I've got here is a baking tray, a shallow one, but I'm actually going to use the back of it, just with some baking paper laid over the top of it sort of loosely, just best you can. Sort of let gravity do its thing there. And that's how I'm going to cook them too, sort of basically upside down, or the baking tray upside down. So I just want to roll that out. And as you probably know, with pides, is we're going for a longer sort of boat sort of shape. So rather than sort of keep flipping this around this way to get a circle, I'm just going to keep rolling it the same sort of way, although I might flip it the other way. I don't want to go too much longer because I haven't got a very big oven. Just make sure you do go out sideways a little bit, because you want to have some room to pull up the sides a bit. Alright, that's pretty good, pretty happy with that. Now my mozzarella cheese, I'm going to put a generous amount of that. So I'm going to get about half my guanciale, you know what I mean. And just place that along strategically. Now obviously you could substitute bacon or pancetta if you can't get the guanciale. Now some of those cooked mushrooms. Which I've tasted by the way and are absolutely delicious. As promised, they've soaked up the flavour of some of that pork. Don't be stingy. I cooked plenty, so there's no need to be. Looking so far, looking good. Now I'm going to get a handful of my capsicum, which I've just diced up, or bell pepper, as my friends in America like to call them. And again, just evenly distribute them. Now I've got this leftover pecorino, so that's a sort of sharp goat's cheese. So I know I've got the mozzarella on the base, but this will give us a bit of a contrast. It's a bit saltier and sharper. Plus, like I said, I want to use it up. I'm just going to grate some over the top. And what we'll do is we'll take our edges, fold them over gently, and then bring the ends up even a bit further over. And pinch those ends together so it sort of holds everything there. I might turn that around. Like so. I'm pretty happy with that. Now all I'll probably do with that is I'll get a bit of an egg wash and give it an egg wash on the sides. I've got another tray to make my next one, so I'll get on with the next one and then I'll get back to you. Alrighty guys, so I've got both my pides ready to go now. I just need to preheat my oven up to pretty well as hot as it goes, which isn't too hot on mine. It says 250, but I think it's more like 220 or something. Crappy old oven, but it'll work. Now, I did also say at the start that I was going to utilize some eggs, which I have because I've beaten up an egg and egg washed the pastry of both these, but I'm also going to, only for one of these, and probably this one because it's a little bit wider, about halfway through the cook, I'm going to crack open an egg and just sit that on top and finish cooking the rest of the pide with that egg. So, as well as getting it up to temperature, once it's up to temperature, I'm going to start the cook of these on the bottom sort of shelf for a few minutes, like 3 or 4 minutes, and then I'm going to pull them out. Then I'm going to put the egg on that one, and then I'm going to finish the cooking up on the top shelf. Now, as you saw, all I did was I added a bit of Baharat spice on top. That's a really classic, slightly spicy sort of Middle Eastern spice mix. Really, really yummy. Let's take a look at this baby up close. Oh, just got to be careful not to spill it. The yolk's sort of half runny still, so I've got to be careful, but it is cooked as well. It's cooked on top. I mean, I'm just going to take a bite. Alright guys, it's absolutely delicious. The dough's nicely cooked, getting a real salty hit off the guanciale. Nice and cheesy. It's just delicious. Those mushrooms are absolutely delicious. I know you can't see them on top there, but they are. Man, I don't know what else I can say. It's just a really easy thing to make. It looks good, it tastes fantastic, and I really hope you give this one a try. It's awesome. You can substitute anything you want. That's just sort of like the base recipe, how to like set up the pide dough, and then you can put in all sorts of things, but that's a good mix, that one there. Alrighty, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone who's subscribed to the channel. Really, really appreciate it, as always. If you haven't subscribed yet, can I just ask you to hit that subscription button? I'd really, really appreciate it. Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything. There's no obligation to you, but it really does help my channel out no end with the algorithm-y thingy. Alright, I will see you all next time.